Euzubillahimineşşeytanirracim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Selamünaleyküm ve rahmetullahi ve berekatuhu. İnşallah very great. And we will continue with our discussion on evil, whispers of evil, and how to seek refuge from them to the all-wise, all-knowing Creator. We've been studying the 13th flesh. We will continue, inshallah, from there. Last week we discussed the 11th indication. We will continue with the 12th indication, inshallah, today. I'm speaking slowly so that you can find the text. Before starting the 12th indication, I will read a chunk of the 11th indication again. It will be required in the 12th indication. And don't get it as an insult to your memory. I know that you know the 11th indication by heart. You can memorize every word. Except a few of them. But still, for my old memory, inshallah, we will read it again. And then start discussing or reading about the indication. I assume everybody found the text. Okay, let me read the 11th indication, and now we can ask for a volunteer for it. For one of the most important results of the universe's creation. So, I apologize. Let's remind, this 11th indication was a question asking why all this anger, like the Quran mentioned that the entire universe is getting so angry for unbelievers when they deny. Why is it so? Right? And author said there are many reasons for that, and he listed 3 of them here. So I will read these 3 reasons, inshallah. For one of the most important results of the universe's creation is man's worship and his responding to divine dominicality with belief and submission. He first sets the stage that this is the purpose of your. However, due to the denial, which is a part of this belief, the denial of this purpose, part of the disbelief, the people of unbelief and misguidance reject that supreme result, which is the ultimate reason for the continued existence of beings, and they therefore perpetuate a sort of transgression against the being's rights. So this is the first reason, author says, when you deny the purpose in the creation, when you deny the purpose of all existence, you denying the very existence of things, and you are transgression their rights of existence. Right? So it's a sin against everything in creation. When you simply say, oh no, things happen by themselves, there's no such thing as purpose, there's no point of being thankful, because there's nothing to be thankful. Nothing has any value, etc. When you simply say that, oh, this is my philosophy, right? Actually, what you are doing is you denying the right of existence of every individual creature. Moreover, since they deny the manifestations of the divine names, which are apparent in the mirrors of beings and exalt their value, they both insult those sacred names, and by degrading the value of beings, greatly depreciate them. So this is another reason you deny by doing so. When you say, "Oh, I don't believe there's a creator," you basically deny all the qualities you observe in things, right? So you are also insulting these qualities as well. Also, true beings are dominical officials charged with elevated duties. By their unbelief, the people of misguidance cast them down and showing them to be lifeless, transitory, meaningless creatures, they in a way violate the rights of all of them. So now you are denying their elevated duties. They are conscious, lively creatures, but you say, no, they're just lifeless bunch of matter. They don't have any value. So again, this is another type of sin against the entire universe. Hence, the universe becomes angry at the people of rebellion and misguidance after the thoughts. So this is the part that I wanted to remind. If there are any comments about these specific part we just read, we can start from there. Otherwise, we can continue with the 12th indication.
Last week was the anger of the universe. What does that refer to? I think we talked about like certain natural calamities, but I don't think that's necessarily what it's talking about, because all these reasons are not something you physically see, right? It's like a perspective related. So I don't quite understand, what does it mean for the universe to be angry? Is that something I would experience? Like I'd be able to sense that, or is that more so talking about something that's not, that I don't see, but somehow I'm meant to read it?
Anyone who wants to remind us? Yes.
So the reason author started with calamities being as a sign of anger is he is reading into existence, and this is actually a good practice of how to read Quran. So and also how to read creation. So in Quran we read the stories of previous people who knowingly, deliberately rejected the message, and they were tortured with or erased from earth by using calamities. But author is now reading into this and saying that actually, since they denied the signs in the creation, they were erased from the universe by those signs themselves. Like rain would have been a sign of the creator, but those people denied the signs of the creator. So the signs themselves, rain, for example, flooded them. So the universe is showing its anger to them. So they were punished with what they denied when they are on earth. So he's reading into this as it's not coincidental that they were erased from earth by those calamities. It's not a byproduct, it is intentional. Because otherwise they could have just evaporated or their souls just taken away. Like, because this is how people die, right? At the end of the day, your soul is taken away and you're dead. But they are killed in a way that not only they themselves died, but their civilization was also erased. So this is, if you try to read what is the sign in this picture, so they denied the messengers and messengers being human messengers, but also they denied the creation being a messenger, because a flower, a new day, is also a messenger. So they were punished by those messengers showing them the anger. So this is how now the author is reading into the creation. And we should be trying to read it as such, because the creator repetitively says, we have, and among our signs is this, and among our signs is this. So the whole creation is a sign. But if I deliberately deny those signs, then I do deserve punishment. Actually, this might be a segue that Brother Birkan was also willing to take for today. At Drexel, we were studying such a verse today as well. The verse we studied was, they denied our signs. No, those that deny our signs, and the word that's used for deny was kafara, like covering up the signs. We put them into fire, and the fire will burn their skins, but their skins will get renewed, and they will get burnt again, so that they thoroughly taste the punishment. So this was such a verse from, and I think it's relevant to our discussion here as well. Now, the question in this regard is saying that why, like in this example, fire is showing anger towards them. The bigger question in here was water, earthquake, sound, like things from the creation is being utilized to cleanse the earth from those deniers. And now author is saying that because those people denied them, which is a violation of their rights, and now the creator is taking their rights, by them I mean the creation, from the deniers by the hands of the creation themselves. Like, for example, if this is also how it is in Sharia, right? If one person, let's say Senin, kills somebody from your family, what happens? Senin is going to be captured and will be given to your family, so that your family is going to kill Senin. Like, this is called qisas, because he wronged you guys, so he's going to taste the punishment in the hands of your family.
So,
right?
Wait, I mean, they cannot send just like a mass destruction bomb on his family and kill everyone.
So, no, not like that. So in the case of, for example, when a Jewish woman wanted to poison Prophet and his companions, he prepared a goat and poisoned the goat. So Prophet ﷺ said, don't eat. But one of the companions happened to eat at this moment, and he died. Like, this is the only person who died of this goat. And then Prophet then asks him, why did you do this to the woman? He says, if you were a prophet, you wouldn't eat it. But if you were a liar, I wanted to save the people from you by killing you. And then in one narrations, either Prophet gave him to the family of the deceased Sahaba so that they kill her, or that he himself did it, because it's qisas, like life is going to be taken. Anyways, the bottom line is, the disbeliever wrongs the universe, and now the universe, by the hand of the universe, the disbeliever was tortured. So this is how the author is now reading these. Now, of course, these are examples. One can argue, is this the case for anybody and everybody? Now, the author is trying to read into the story, the background, and saying that, why are they angry then? Like, what is it? And then he counts these three reasons, because really it's an insult to the creation. Because if I say, for example, a messenger comes, United States sends a messenger, an envoy to Russia, and Russia kills the envoy. What happens? It's a cause for war for many reasons, because by killing the messenger, first, Russia didn't count US as an authority, as a sovereign state. Second, just by ignoring, or you don't need to kill, even ignoring the envoy means the envoy, being a honorable person, is now becoming lower than a regular person. You don't even care about them. So you are wronging the envoy itself. You're wronging the government behind the envoy. So this is why there's going to be this anger, as now author is mentioning. The creation, likewise, if I pretend as if it's not a sign at all, it's nothing, it's just meaningless by chance. Although it would have been an envoy otherwise, I am insulting the king who sends the creation as an envoy to me. Also, I am insulting the creation itself. Rather than becoming an envoy, it simply becomes things of chance, valueless. So in this regard, the anger would be there. Maybe one final question that we can ask, which was actually among your questions as well. How do I feel this anger if there is no earthquake that is hitting me? Do I still experience this anger?
And I think that was the gist of the question anyway. So the last part you mentioned, that's how I heard it. I don't know. Then what I understand from what Brother Yusuf said, when we read these ayahs, we can ask different questions. Oh, why God did this? All these nations, which will not take us fruitful. Or we can read it as how do I experience such thing in my life? Yeah, we've been through a major earthquake recently in Turkey, but not you guys. So do we have to wait for the earthquakes or floods or the heavy rain and coming or wind destroying things? How am I going to understand this? The ayahs, and Quran is basically saying when you violate rights of the creation, when you insult creation, when you deny all the values, qualities that are manifested in the creation, you will find yourself in a situation that the creation is not behaving nice. You will find yourself in such a situation. You will, as if saying that, when you do that, you will see the indication, signs of it in the creation. Don't expect something, quote unquote, miraculous, as you said, like not they're not being ever right? Don't expect something extraordinary happen in your life as a sin. You will, get this slab in the hands of the creation, by the hands of the creation. Okay? So that's what these ayahs tell us. If you behave bad, response will be bad, and you will see that. And you can take this now as a code. It's like indicator, right? When you out of gas, when you're driving, the merciful engineers, they put a light there, the empty tank indicator, right? If you didn't have that, you would be driving on the highway, and then the car would stop immediately, and then you will be part of a chain accident. Or you would have some trouble, right? You would say, thank you, engineers, for putting these indicators in my panel. Creator is telling us, as your sin, as your discipline increases, brightness of this indicator will increase. Okay? So you will see the indications, the anger indication, signs of what this disbelief means. So what are the examples? Let's conclude with this. you say life is meaningless. Okay? That's your insult. What you get in return, really a meaningless, dark life in which you don't have any pleasure. When you say life is meaningless, like you don't say it in a dark way. You just say, no, things happen by themselves. We just need to find our way in this, among these random occurrences, blind forces, with our science, philosophy, technology, we will conquer this meaningless, the blind, the universe. We need to colonize all these different stars, etc. Like even when you talk, you speak as if it's coming from some ambition, curiosity. They would ask. Like every time I hear the word curiosity, I say, okay, they're probably trying to sugarcoat their disbelief and their understanding of this meaningless, purposeless life. And we will invent a purpose in this life. That's what usually people mean when they say curiosity. The elegance of science trying to understand the universe means in the universe there's nothing to understand. But with our minds, we will make up some understandings and sell it to people. That author says, your life, your person will be meaningless, dark, the purposeless life that you can barely live. You will have fights with the beloved ones. Nobody will care about you. You will not care about anyone unless there's a reasons, right? Some, let's say, the product for you, the outcome for you to get. But this will be your life. Your life will be destroyed by everything in you. The creation will be angry with you and destroy you. Just one example.
So, today, as we were having this conversation at Drexel, there was a mother and son joining us online. So that was a good example in this regard, so I'm going to repeat that. First, let me start from a rose, a regular example with rose, like Ahmed taking a rose to Natalia. So if Natalia takes this as just a plant, the plants will eventually rot. And if she says that, oh, plant is nice, plant rots and leaves pain behind. Like if Natalia really thinks that, oh, what a cute plant, not take it as a sign of Ahmed's love, all the roses or plants die one day, right? So it will rot away and it will leave pain behind. Actually, the receiving of this flower is going to become an enemy for her, because now that it departed, it went away, it left sorrow with you. So you would even say, if only I have never seen it. Like another example we gave for this one was, if you have a newborn baby and the baby dies at age 2, you have very nice memories with baby, but maybe baby is gone and left a pain with you forever. You would say, if only I have never had the baby. Like I loved her so much, enjoyed her so much, but the pain left behind is so big that I rather never had the baby in the first place. Because I didn't see the baby or the flower as a sign, as a sign of a love of Ahmed, or sign of a love, mercy of the creator of the baby. I just saw the baby as the baby. Then the baby became my enemy. Baby tortured me, actually, once the baby leaves. But if you were to see the flower as the sign of Ahmed's love, even if the flower rots, love doesn't rot, because it was just the indicator of, or a news carrier, messenger of Ahmed's love to you. Now you can say, okay, flower is gone, but love is still there. So still you know that Ahmed loves you, even if the flower is not there. If the baby dies, as much as I see the baby as the sign of my creator, it's not going to be the end of the world for me. It's not going to become my hell. The baby will not become my hell, right? So in this regard, anything in this existence, if I start seeing them as meaningless, it doesn't have a meaning. It's not a messenger, but it is just, I don't know, my mom. I love my mom. She is nice and cute of a person. But as I see my mom as just my mom and not as a sign of my creator's mercy, I will start having issues with my mom. Or if everything goes well, one day she will die. But it's going to become a source of my misery. You can apply this to anything in this existence. The universe will become my enemy because even if things go well, meaning I am living a comfortable life and everything is nice, everything departs, every joy departs. And by them departing, they leave pain with me, showing that they became my enemy as if they are hating me. So in this regard, by me denying them as messengers, I make them enemies to myself. So even if I am not smashed by an earthquake, even a cute baby smile, since I am aging in the first place, right, becomes my enemy, showing that this is, if I read it properly, they are showing their anger towards me, saying that if you don't take us as messengers, we living your life is going to leave you in pain. So it's very organic, very beautiful that you start seeing the existence as your enemy if you don't see them as your creator's messengers. And there, within everything itself, is hell. It becomes your hell. This is why, going back to the verse was describing a very horrendous picture. Like you intentionally denied the messengers or the sign. And the creator is saying that I'm going to put you in hellfire. Your skin is going to be burned. It will get renewed. We are going to burn it again. Like this week, this question came twice. Once it was on Tuesday discussion, a student asked it, isn't this too like horrific? Like it's a small mistake, but such a big torture, like merciful God, how do we explain this? The second question came from a brother. He sent me a video recording of a scholar. He was talking about the hadith narration, and brother was asking, is it sahih or not? I don't know whether it is sahih or not, but the meaning is sahih. What is the meaning? So the scholar was saying that Prophet ﷺ saw a dream, and in his dream, a man's skull head was being smashed by a rock. And then as the one who's throwing the rock comes down to take the rock, the man's head becomes proper again, like gets fixed. He throws the rock again, like multiple times. He's pretty much, skull is not just the skin, the verse skin is being renewed. In that dream, it was skull, like the head was getting smashed. So Prophet ﷺ asks to Jibreel, what is this? And in the narration, Jibreel says, this guy neglected his morning prayers, and this is the punishment. My friend was saying that it's just neglecting of a prayer. Isn't this too harsh of a punishment? But we are going to read it. This is guidance, like prophetic guidance or Quranic guidance. When we read guidance, we need to see, is this really the case? Then check in your life. If you intentionally neglect prayer, what do you become? Because if I neglect prayer, I am neglecting my purpose in life. Then I don't see purposeless in the rest of the life either. Sun becomes purposeless and meaningless. Everything becomes purposeless. You find yourself in a world where everything is purposeless, meaningless. Your brain really gets smashed. Like you are living like a human being, not like a human being, but something less than an animal. Your brain is getting smashed by being neglectful about your prayer. Actually, this punishment is already included in your life. It is pretty much describing what you are. What am I? So this is how we should be reading guidance of the Quran, because as we are studying on Tuesdays, this is a guidance upon which there is no doubt. So ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه Huda lil muttaqin. So it's a book upon which there's no doubt, but it's guidance. Guidance means somebody says in such and such location there's gold, right? How do you know? You need to go and dig, right? Now in here in the verse it says, this is what we will do to you if you deny the message. This is pretty much how I'm experiencing actually. If I deny the message, I say, oh, I love eating this fruit. I love doing this. It's so fun. I do it. My skin is renewed. I do the experience. But the moment the experience finishes, joy disappears. Now I am longing for this joy. Fire starts happening, right? My skin is burnt. But next day, I get another opportunity to taste the same joy. My skin is renewed. I do the same joy, enjoy it for a few minutes. Joy disappears. Fire is with me again. Actually, Quran is talking about me. If I intentionally deny that experience being a message, then I am being tortured with this fire. So really, Quran is talking about me. What is to come? Even worse than that. But I can now make sure I 100% agree, actually, and eternal punishment is awaiting because I already experienced it in here. So this is how Quranic guidance is supposed to be read. Like, it's not a simple threat. It is expression of reality first and foremost.
So when we say, when you deny the purpose, meaning your life is miserable, it may sound, extreme, but you can check it yourself. Like if you are, for instance, watering, let's say, plants, right? You do it for a purpose. You even enjoy it, and you can, when you play with the water, or a child play with the water when you are watering, it happens all the time with us. You laugh, you enjoy, you don't care being, the wet. Why? Because there's a purpose, there's a meaning of this action. It's raining, and you go outside. How do you feel? You are that close to curse. Oh, it's raining again, I got wet. Right? You get angry. Or if it is cold, you get that close, right? You are cold, and there's no reason why I'm cold. I mean, it's meaningless. And what happens? Anger. You don't enjoy it. This happens all the time. That you hear people, like you walk outside and people say, oh, it's raining again. I hate this weather. Why? What is like hatred? This simple word, hatred. It means just the rain. Oh, rain is like one of the most beautiful things in this entire creation. Water coming down from the sky, giving life. And you witness this. You can touch it. The life is coming down. Cleansing. Cleansing is coming down. And you witness this. Most beautiful thing. The way it rains, when you think about it. All these raindrops. The water hitting the ground. Hitting the leaves of the plants. It's so artistic. So beautiful. But what you do, you hate. That the beauty, when you deny it, becomes a hatred in you. It's not something simple. So when Ayah says the rain will flood you, you experience it, at this glimpse of it. Imagine you deny every meaning, every purpose in your life. What would this rain will do to you? Just imagine. Okay, let's continue with the 12. Who wants to read? 12 indication. We will read the first 3 questions and answer. The 4th question we can have a break. About the 4th question to the short text. Who wants to read? You want to read, Frank? It's been a long time we haven't heard your beautiful voice. Everybody is voting for green, is that so? Would you like? Okay, that's good. Ahmed, would you like to read it? Okay, you want to say? And Yusuf, no.
I talked already.
Who wants to read? Ladies? Natalia, would you, save the honor of your seat. You have an indication upon here the fourth question.
Self-indication. This consists of 4 questions and answers. First question. How can boundless torment in an endless hell in return for limited sins in unlimited life be justice? The answer. It was understood clearly in the above indications, and particularly in the 11th, that unbelief and misguidance are an infinite crime and transgression against innumerable rights. Second question. It is said in Sharia that hell is punishment for action, but paradise is a divine favor. What is the reason for this? The answer. It is clearly shown in the above indications that with his faculty of will and insignificant wishes, through giving form and reality to something non-existent or theoretical, man causes loss and destruction and evil. And so too, since his soul and appetites always incline towards evil and harm, he is responsible for the evils that occur as a result of his slight wishes. For his soul wanted them, and his desires gave rise to them. And since evil pertains to non-existence, the servant is the agent and Almighty God creates it. Being responsible for the infinite crime, he certainly deserves infinite punishment. However, since good deeds and actions pertain to existence, man's will and wishes cannot be the direct cause of their existence. Man cannot be the true agent in such an act. Also, his deep commanding soul is not biased towards good deeds. Rather, divine mercy requires them, and a dominical power creates them. Man can only lay a claim to them through belief, a wish, or an intention. And having claimed them, those good works consist of thanks for the infinite divine bounties he has received, but the bounties of belief and existence. This sense looks to past bounties, while paradise, which as a divine promise will be given, is a favor of the most merciful. Apparently, it will be a reward, but in reality, it is a favor. That is to say, in evils, the soul is the cause and deserves the punishment, while in good deeds, both the cause and the occasion are from God. Man can only lay claim to them through belief. He may not say, I want the reward, but he may say, I hope for the divine favor. Third question. It is understood from the above explanations that since evils become numerous through spreading and aggression, a single evil deed should be recorded as 1,000. While since they pertain to existence, good deeds do not become numerous, and since they do not occur through the servant's creations or the desires of his soul, they should not be recorded at all, or they should be recorded only as 1. So why are evil deeds recorded as 1 and good deeds as 10, and sometimes as 1,000? The answer. Almighty God demonstrates his perfect mercy and the beauty of his compassionateness in that way.
Just that way. Let's have a break here. Oh. Okay, let's start with the first impressions about the text, and then we will inshallah dive deep into the first one and maybe the ideals. Well, but before that, again, let's start with first impressions about the text. Also, please, who has the microphone?
Have the same exact questions they came up here, but sort of along those lines, like I is I guess it's tricky.
You should do it.
hell a punishment, but like heaven or paradise is not. I if I deserve hell, shouldn't I deserve heaven? Is kind of the question that I perceive from the second question. Um, and I guess the answer is still not very clear to me, but inshallah, it becomes clear. And then also, I guess the third question is also similar. Like, if unbelief and uh, non-existence or misguidance is so severe, why is this sin just account of like one sin versus not being thousand, I guess, like whereas good deeds are um like multiple. That is also a question I have, what I understand. Third question.
Anyone else? Okay.
Is we want something that we accepted, and we, you know, it makes sense, I guess, that we claim for it to be, like, we know that it's true without really breaking it down. But yeah, I think that it does. What I'm getting from this question, that, okay, the default is that we are destined for hell and we deserve to be a hell and deserve to be punished because it is our, like, evil is basically our nature. And then another thing that comes from the third question that I don't really understand, or maybe I don't necessarily agree with just yet, is the idea that, okay, evils multiply, but the idea that good deeds don't, or the idea that good deeds don't multiply and they don't occur through the servant's creative act or the desires of the soul, so they shouldn't even be recorded at all, or only as one. I think in our experience in general, doing a good deed, yes, it can be a single thing, but it can also lead to a lot of good. So that's something that we need to look at.
Alhamdulillah, very good point. The last one is actually a deep one, of course, related to lecture. Like them. There's a comment.
Abdurrahman wants to talk.
He wants to talk. He could be here if he really wanted to talk, but let's hear it.
I don't know how to make him talk. Okay. How do I unmute him? Ask to unmute. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. Sorry to disappoint. I just had a brief comment in terms of first reactions, which is that in that first question of how can infinite torment in an endless hell in return for limited sins and limited life be justice? I know we discussed this to a certain extent last week, but it made me think about how, you know, even certain crimes that we might read about or hear about or witness, crimes of a different nature, let's say the murder of a child or something like that, there are certain things that, you know, the human, I guess, disposition or fitra can immediately say, yes, like the punishment for this should not be just 10 years or 7 years or even a lifetime, right? Because what was committed is something that takes away endless potential, endless meaning. And we see that very, I think, clearly or in an apparent fashion So just the idea that an act can warrant endless hell, I think is not something very alien to our human expectations. Sakla.
Oh yeah, it is easy to that or say that with such crimes. But when it comes to quote unquote intellectual crimes, like, I just don't believe why I deserve help. Okay, let's start, inshallah. Who wants to take the first try with the idea of how we understand it, how we could understand it as a punishment mentioned in the text, and the punishment of your bad deeds.
I think Sister Sarah, since she has atheist friends,
Okay.
she might want to.
Because like the author is saying like soul wants this and the man desires this and wishes that. And then when I think about it, weren't we created this way? Like, why is it then it's our fault? Like in the Quran, God says, وَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا. Sometimes the soul wants like the fujur, and sometimes he gives her the inspired to have the taqwa, right? Nafsu ammaratun bisu, like the nafs wants. So I don't understand why, if we were created this way, we have to be punished for the way we are created. I mean, I understand you have to be punished, but I don't understand why it has to be such a harsh punishment, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I also, I mean, I think you have to be at a certain spiritual, religious level. I don't know how to say, but to feel like the hell that Brother Yusuf was talking about, in like, you know what I meant about skull? Like when I miss Fajr prayers, let's say, do I really feel that my skull is being crushed? I mean, feel bad when I see that the light is, the sun has risen and I didn't get up. I try to make it up maybe when I do but I mean, to be honest, I don't feel like my skull is being crushed. I don't know. I feel like, why? I mean, God gives different people different bala, I guess, different tests. Like maybe my test is I like to sleep. So he's testing me with this, and this is how I can understand it. I try to make it, but yeah, I still can't feel like, why it would be. I just wanted to sleep a little longer. I didn't want to get up in the cold, and so why does it have to be such a big punishment? I still can't get it. Yeah, and I can't feel it in this life. So that's why I can't even imagine how it's going to be in the after.
Okay, Jazakallah, mashallah. Honest and clear comments. Okay, Farsan is doing his job. Or not doing his job.
No, he is.
Okay, let's not make it lives. Okay, so let's start with this idea of punishment. I guess that's the right starting point. So, I mean, let's start with the easy examples, maybe, to just understand the concept. If I misbehave my parents, if I misbehave my children, I will tell you. There might be some people who do not feel that way. I don't know. That might be. I mean, the creation is full of exceptions to show us the value of the way things are usually. So let's not focus on the exceptions. But I feel that way. I misbehave my child, I feel bad. So we take it as granted. Of course, Birkan, you will feel bad. You are a human being. It's not a nice act. Right? The bunch of matter. I'm a bunch of matter. It's just, the atoms is flesh, bone. And what I did is just played with my sound. And just the sound waves. Whether I, screamed or not, who cares? Right? But it doesn't work that way. It's not just sound waves. I screamed at her or him, and then he got scared. He looked at my eyes with these, the liquid eyes, and then trembling. I feel terrible. What is this? So if I tell you, for instance, if I, as let's say, giving you a user manual of yourself, I tell you that every time you act bad towards your child, you will be punished. What would you say? You'd say, yes. That's true. Every time I act bad, I feel this torment. Right? So then the idea of punishment is a little bit different than we usually think. Because when I say I will punish you, you would think that if I scream at my child, will come and slap me. No. The author of this guidance telling you that punishment is the way that your punishment, don't stop there. Your punishment is the way your relationship with your child will be. The punishment is the guilt that you will have. The punishment is the way your child will act and behave. When you take the punishment this way, the questions are different. Nobody would say, I just play with my sound. Like I just changed the tonation of the sound waves, frequency of the sound waves. Why I got so, the big of punishment? Nobody would ask. Because we will take it as, yes, this is a very fitting.
And I think we generally take it as a natural response.
Yeah. So that's the second part. We usually take it as natural response. Of course, you feel bad because through the evolution, you were trained to feel bad so that you don't, kill your child and your, the generation will continue. This feeling is there to protect, the genes. I mean, it sounds crazy, but this is what, you will see the textbook. We take it that way, so we don't take it as a punishment. And the author of the manual, the creator, says, there's no such thing as natural response. You acting bad, and as a guidance to tell you that you are on the wrong path. I'm creating this punishment in you. I am creating it. We, make you fall into hell. Ron says. So I am creating this feeling. I am creating these consequences of your action. Take it as a punishment. take it as a guidance, indicator. That's what ayahs are telling. Okay? These are the simple examples. So if you make the examples a bit more elaborate, complicated, you do unjust, great unjust. You kill him. Or you think other people don't deserve anything, you just kill them, just like insects from your perspective. What happens? You feel the breath of every other human being in your back at an end. Now, if this is the life, you can kill anyone as you wish, somebody else can kill. So your entire security is taken away as a punishment. It's against your fitting and the punishment. Nobody would say, just put this the metal thing inside the meat and just play there a bit, let the flute, the flow. And why this punishment? Nobody would say. You would say killing a person or a nation or a child, doesn't matter. Just one person, your entire life is taken away. Your entire joy of life is taken away. You say it's a very fitting punishment. Quran says, when you do that, when you do wrong, like act wrong, you will get a very fitting punishment for your behavior. So that's the promise. So when I take the word punishment in this way, I will start understanding that, oh, actually, it is very fitting. And to some extent, if you are a reasonable, honest person, you would even say, I'm glad that it is there. So that before my car is crashed entirely, my life crashed entirely, I see the indicators, small ones, so that I act accordingly. So within this conceptual framework, when we revisit all these examples, you missing a prayer and so on, if Quran is telling you, or a hadith is telling you, you will receive such and such punishment, try to take it in the sense that we just described the punishment. Mm-hmm. Ask the question, what I have in my life, how I live my life without my faith? Is it a fitting punishment or not? Do not expect somebody is coming and slapping. I mean, who missed all these prayers? I would look at myself as well if I can. But you missed all these prayers so far. Did anybody come and slap you? Anybody burn you? No. Poke you with a knife? So you would actually ask the question when you hear such a hadith. Come on, it doesn't make sense. I missed all these prayers. Nobody crushed my head. The question is whether crushing head is a fitting punishment or not. The question is, what is this correct? After this. And then you will understand that, okay, well, maybe the talking about constant experience. So it's about that, it is very fitting. You would even call it as a punishment. It is what you deserve, what you end up. You earned it. Very nice example. Bushra, the older one, she did something bad in her faith, and we have a sticker system now. Every bad action will get a sticker. I said, congratulations, Bushra, you earned this sticker. She was so angry. thing. Right? It's a punishment. I didn't learn anything. So when you think about it, it's really you earning something. Actually, she said, no. She was honest. Okay, I misremember. I apologize. She said, you cannot call it a reward. Like it's not something earning. I did something bad. Right? I didn't understand anything. So anyway, when you think about it, you really earn it. And you receive your gift. And you chose this bad creation as a gift, then it is given to you. Where's my phone?
So then in regards to the prayer, to the extent that, I mean, of course, we do miss prayer here and there, but as it starts becoming a habit, such as, like, if I overeat one day, I don't become, I don't know, obese the next day. But as I start overeating and then I start having a belly and then I start getting unhealthy and whatnot, right? Over time, it's showing a trajectory. If I start becoming neglectful of my prayer, so much so that at some point, even maybe I stop doing it and whatnot, what is happening in my life? In this case, I am forgetting my actual purpose in this life. And then to the extent that I become purposeless in this life, I start making up different purposes for myself, such as, oh, now I need to get the promotion. Birkan is working more than me and he's getting paid more, and I couldn't buy the home. My car is not as good as his. Like all these because the life itself is becoming my purpose then, with loading me with all those anxieties. My brain is really getting smashed into chasing this and this and that in life, although it was made to properly realize who I am, who my creator is. This is what it was made for. But to the extent that I quitted or become negligent of prayer, which was the purpose of my life, I start picking other things as my purpose. And my brain is really getting distributed to all the things that it's not supposed to get distributed. My life becomes more filled with stress. So actually, it is being the outcome of becoming negligent of it. The punishment is being what I'm going through in life. It's not explicitly being labeled as a punishment. We just call it, well, such is life, man. It sucks, but you have to live it. You have to bear with it. This is being the thing, but this is what we are living across the board. Like anybody and everybody in the society is going through this. Then if I read this as a guidance, I would say, oh, Prophet is actually talking about us as a society. The more we started becoming negligent, our brains are being smashed. So then we would say, indeed, he was telling the truth.
And when you think in the contrast with, taking it as a reaction, I think and you have to live it. The punishment, word punishment becomes so merciful. Because it means somebody is watching you and taking care of you and warning you. The alternative is you just let it go. I love this ayah, I keep saying it again and again, but there's an ayah saying that the human being thought we would leave them alone. They seemed to surround them. Such a merciful ayah. Like you're not left alone, and you will have these warnings surrounding you. Meaning they're not just, it's like a really bad dad, for instance, a father. What he would do, he would just take note. Right? Look at the child, she did something. And then another one, mental note, of course. And then one day, acting in a very bad way to the child because she's a bad child. It's a terrible death. But the good dad, what would he do? When child do something wrong, he would warn right in the moment, in a way that he can understand. when you think about it, so when Creator says, no, they are not natural occurrences. You're not just feeling this way. Or your colleagues are not acting bad because you live in such a society. Whatever you are experiencing, I'm giving it as a punishment. When Creator says that, I take it as a mercy. I said that, okay, then it means when I do something wrong, the warning will be there. Because punishment means there is someone behind it. It doesn't happen by itself. Right? So there will be someone watching me, watching over me. That's the beauty of such ayahs. And again, with the child, it's easier to see. When you have a merciful system in place, right? To warn them when they act bad, their life becomes much better. Like just leaving them alone, they shouting, breaking things, not obeying any orders, whatever. Don't take order in order in your culture. But between the parent and the child, when you leave them alone this way, their life is miserable. I promise you. They don't like it. They would think they like it, they want to do it, but at the end of every single moment, they feel bad. They will not enjoy it. You see that. But when you put a system in place to teach them what is right, what is wrong, again, I promise you, there is also many, even naturalistic explanations for that. Like people know that. Everybody knows that. When you put a system in place, warn them, or guide them when they do something good, their life becomes much fruitful, much more fruitful and enjoyable. They are more happy, like a happier. Same goes with us as well. So if we were left alone, our life would be miserable. Thanks to these fires in our lives, that we can, correct ourselves and know the boundaries.
Then it's not, you're, like, the question is asking, how do limited sins earn you boundless torment? So then maybe the idea is that it's not these mistakes that we can, that like light up this fire and that we can eventually catch and maybe correct. It's persistent mentality that it's not a big deal, like, so what, just because I did it this one time, like, worry about it. So that is opening up a more dangerous kind of attitude of doesn't mean anything, which does deserve that eternal punishment. But if it's more like, I recognize that I was negligent, I made a mistake, and I want to strive to correct it, then that is not the same thing as. I guess I'm trying to make a distinction between like a sin versus like becoming saved, like a limited sin versus something that I'm persistently covering.
Actually, the question makes an assumption, and the author is correcting the assumption. The question's assumption is, how can an infinite torment in an endless hell in return for limited sins in a limited life be justice? But author is saying that this belief is an unlimited injustice. So it's more about in the domain of disbelief. So I do make mistakes as well. So this is not exactly what author is talking about. He's talking about black and white. He's talking about the extremities. But the unbelief in a limited life is not a limited sin. This is what he is saying, actually. Because with unbelief, intentional ignorance, covering up the truth, I am making an infinite injustice to the infinite creation, to the divine names, to the purpose of my existence and universe's existence. He talked about three objects. So it's an infinite injustice. It's not a small deal of, well, I was just like, because this is the attitude, right? God tried to show off himself. I just said, I don't care about you. Like he was the ignorant one who was trying to show off. Like this might be a mentality of, I don't know. I don't know if I'm imagining an atheist too much, but it sounds like the atheist is saying that God tried to show off, and I just said, I don't care about you, and now he is torturing and tormenting me and whatnot, like as if framing it as such. Well, the whole universe is telling something, and I deny what they are saying. The creator is demonstrating all these beautiful names, and I'm going against it. And me, myself, am a product of him, a creation of him, yet I am denying my purpose of existence with the rest of the universe. So pretty much I am multiplying the whole creation with a zero. The extent of the magnificence of the creation plus the glory of the creator. This is the extent of my mistake. Hence, eternal punishment is being a justice to that. So I think this was the question's way of framing it was wrong, despite the authors correcting it. But when it comes to, and we talked about this last week as well, how about the believer's mistakes? Yeah, we do make these mistakes, and we said that potentially every mistake, if not corrected, has a path that can take me to unbelief. But this is why we are given istighfar, and this is the topic of the whole text, right? Seeking refuge to the Creator. So this is by design what we are meant to be. We will make mistakes, but we will try to correct them. But the two are separate.
So about the last thing you said, by design, there was also a question like if I created this way. So again, let's not try to look from the lens of perspective of the one who creates, but to us. I find myself in a certain way. And within this context, when I make a wrong choice, a fitting response is given. So when I see that, I say, yeah, everything is important. When I look from that perspective, I don't say anymore, like I was created this way, why I got punished. Whatever I do, and the response from my perspective is fitting. I acted bad against my child, and I feel terrible. This is how I find myself, and it makes sense to me. And there's nothing to complain because it makes sense to me. Like when we complain, usually when we don't understand it, when it doesn't make sense. But in my life, every time I got, again, quote unquote, punished, it's always fitting. Fitting and perfect.
What it's usually mean, like how our like, at the same time, how do we know uh certain event that like it's due is an outcome of our action or it's a trial from God. And then second question is, you know, how we see so much evil in the world. So why is it that, you know, when we, I mean, like, why is it that it's still evil and there's no action or there are no consequences for any word. It's, I mean, you continue to see evil.
Wants to help with these questions? Very beautiful questions. Let's start with the first one. How I know that it's because of my actions versus it file by cause.
The easy answer is you don't. What I mean by that is, when Prophet ﷺ was stoned in Ta'if, so like he went there for delivering the message that was entrusted to him, but he was being stoned by the people. And Prophet ﷺ has a supplication in there. The meaning, the gist of it is saying, "Oh my Creator, if you are happy with me, I am content. But if you are not happy with me, meaning if this is a response to something I did wrong, this would be." Even this is the state of the Prophet ﷺ. What does this mean? Anything that I go through in this life, I'm going to read it with two lenses. Prophet read it in two lenses. One is this a warning to me? If it's a warning to me, whom do I ask? I go back and ask my Creator, saying that, "Oh my Creator, I am seeking refuge to you. I seek forgiveness from you. I am a person that's likely to err. And by this calamity that's happening to me, I am using it as an occasion, an opportunity to get back to you." And this is prophetic teaching, actually. And we are talking about a person, a prophet, who does not like sin. If this is the case for such a messenger, then we should be taking lesson from them. But I can also take it as then maybe I am also being instructed, like in one way, because as Brother Birkan was saying, I was thinking of it as a teacher. If I catch a student cheating, if I just take a note of it, don't report it to student, or act nice and pretend as if nothing has happened, it's not a good thing. I should actually warn the student so that they learn something out of it. So what if something comes to me, then I should also say, did I do something wrong? Or is my Creator trying to tell me a message out of whatever is happening in life? So there will always be this endeavor to try to read anything in life as a message. How am I going to read it as a message? So either I'm going to read it as prophetic and Quranic instructions with examples how to make meaning out of it. But if not, the bare minimum is taking it as an opportunity to seek refuge in my Creator. This is, maybe we underestimate this, especially when we are having a conversation here, which sounds more like some of the times as an intellectual exercise. But really being able to realize my neediness, my weakness before my Creator, opening my hands to declare my neediness of Him, is one of the biggest messages that I can receive, actually. Just being aware of it, but sensing it. I'm not talking about intellectual. Everybody in this room will say that, of course, we need God for everything. But sometimes in your life, like let's say you think you're a very good scientist. If I ask you, where does knowledge come from? Of course, God, I need God. But you make a submission to a journal, and this journal rejects you, that journal, the third one, the fourth, the fifth one, you truly feel crushed. Or apply to whatever else. You think you're so handsome, the first girl, second girl, 10th girl, all of them rejects you. However you would like to take it, right? You then realize, oh, I am truly in need of you, my Creator. This is different than intellectually saying, of course, everybody needs God. Of course, everything comes from God. So whatever I experience in this life, one of the ultimate outcomes of it really is to open your hands and to say that, I don't know, I really need you. This is such a valuable lesson that we can put into our lives. Sounds very generic, but so valuable than arriving any intellectual conclusion we come out in here.
Then the first and the most important part is when something happens to you, don't take it as, yeah, it has to be this way, as a natural occurrence. But take it as, okay, this thing, this feeling, or something bad happening in your life, happened to me as a creation. Just a second. A message. It could be a warning, or when you say trial, it sounds a bit negative. I would use opportunity. It could be a warning or an opportunity for you to become even better. That's what I understand from the word bala used in the trial, an opportunity in front of you. Just like you have an exam in a class or a homework or assignment. It's a bala, trial. It's an opportunity for you to take to the next step, to the next level. It's either a warning or opportunity. But no matter what it is, the important thing is it's not happening by itself. I'm not angry because he shouted. This anger is created in me as a message, either as a warning or as an opportunity. I will create anger in you if you choose not to act upon this anger and slap him. You will learn something. I'm giving you an opportunity. I think that's the important. Whether it is warning or opportunity, it is message. And when you don't know it, ask to the one, whoever created this message. Anything else? As the second part, evil prevailed and nothing happened to them. So we will discuss that part in the fourth question a bit. But the part that looks at the text that we just discussed. So is it really that nothing happens? A nation bombards another nation, trying to kill everyone. And let's look at the people, how they differ. One group of people, they can die any moment with a new bomb or new, they fire from a soldier. When you look at them, they are so content. They say, God gave us the life, He will take it us from. Take it from us. When you look at their life, they don't see they running away like, scared, I apologize for the word, animals. You don't see it. Such a dignity. Living in a rumble, like a rubbles. Imagine yourself. A family living in rubbles. Everything is destroyed. A mom, child. Mom, as if nothing happened, trying to feed the child. And the child, as if nothing happened, playing with other friends. When he has opportunity, throwing some rocks. Okay? That's one image you see. What kind of life they have here in mind. Look at the other two. What you see, scale of everything. Oh, these people trying to kill us. Oh, these people not trying to kill us. Oh, there are this conspiracy, that conspiracy. We have to create all these task forces to prevent future, the attack to us, even in, the campuses or whatever. Oh, we cannot stand it. Even after, hundreds of years passes, we have to keep this, the fear alive for the next generations. Which side, honestly, you from a material perspective, yes, as if some side is prevailing, being superior to the other side. But from a, even forget about the religion, forget about the belief. From a human perspective, one living with dignity, the other one, just like, I don't want to use certain words, which one you prefer as a human? Which one is sexy? And you can see the same in your life as well. The moments that you act unjust and you earn something, right? You were competing with some friends in, I don't know, some rewards. You take the shortcut, got it, you got the job, not him, not her. You got the higher grade, but you did it in the bad way. How is your life? You tell a lie. It doesn't even have to be so big. Just you tell a lie. What does your life look like? You now have to be suspicious about every word of everybody else, because if you can lie, everybody else will. But when you take it as a habit, you just say that, you know what, I will not lie. Just by this decision, you start trusting them. Because you say honesty exists. I see this quality in creation, honesty, justice. I see it and I accept it. Now, when you look at someone else, you see the same quality there. Even if they lie, it's not your business. Does evil really fail? It is crashed in the moment, as author as the text, and maybe more graphic explains it. Evil is crashed right in the moment. Every time. When Quran says the creator is weak in responding, right? Weak in accounting. There are such ayahs. It means when you do evil, you get the response right. You can take it naturally. Because no, we are scared of everybody else because this is the circumstances, this is the state of affairs, the political conjecture, whatever. I'm not saying that. That's how it is explaining, the historical narrations. So in the fight of the battle, how to explain the hearts of the unbelievers were filled with fear. No matter whether they were more or less, whether they had higher technology, better technology or not, doesn't matter. The heart was filled with. Look at us. Compared to the entire history of the humanity, we are at the pinnacle of the technology. From one perspective, the claim, we can do anything we want. We will even make this AI thing more perfect. we will be able to do whatever we want. That's the level we've reached. Where we are as a human, we are at the highest level of fear compared to any moment in the human history. Every moment, this AI can destroy us. Every moment, alien species can destroy us. Any moment, a new virus can be unleashed and can destroy us. We getting stronger with the evil or weaker?
So you said, like, I feel like we're focusing a lot on, like, when you commit a sin or so, the turmoil that you feel, the torture is within, and that's like the hell, that's the punishment.
An example of
That's-
it.
Yes, and that's like basically a warning that you return. Those some people, I think, maybe they don't deserve the warning. But then, and you said that, like, it's usually a fitting punishment. No, you gave the example of like there's an assassin or something going and killing, and then what he would feel is like someone always behind him trying to kill him. But then the question is, if the feelings that we have are punishment, like the turmoil that we feel after a sin is a punishment, is a warning, why is the need for the physical punishment? So like, you know, if someone killed someone else and he felt like the guilt and he repented and he really like truly repented, so he doesn't deserve to be killed anymore, like does this, like, did he already get the punishment that he deserves and it's enough? I don't think that's the case, at least not in the Sharia. Like if someone stole something, I mean, some people would say in the Sunnah, the Sharia, his
Yeah,
hand
yeah,
should
I
be
think,
right, cut. I
Yeah,
don't
chop
know.
the hand.
Yeah, chopped. Like if he already feels I mean, I don't believe that, but yeah, if he already feels that, like I don't believe that his hand should be cut. There should be, so many other circumstances and whatever that count. But anyways, like there's always the physical punishment, right? So it means that the feeling is not enough. Like it's not an enough of a punishment. Like so many other sins, right? Like the sinner can feel the regret, can feel like he wants to repent, doesn't want to do it again, and all of that, but still, if we were living in a Muslim khilafah or something, then they will be punished, no? Like,
Yeah.
so I don't understand. Like, it's kind of like what we're saying doesn't really fit with what
No,
people
no.
know about like how the Sharia should be applied, right? Like, it's more like what we're talking about. It's more about like what we're doing is still a personal thing. Like, you should be punished like from within, but you shouldn't be like paying for the whole like society that you live in, kind of
So
thing.
these were all about Jazakallah khairan. Maybe we missed the balance there. That's a great point. All these things that we discussed were examples so that we would better understand the idea of the punishment. But I guess the answer is always whether it is fitting or not. When you do something physical, the correction should be physical. Otherwise, it wouldn't be fitting. As a human being, you have these physical aspects, you have these emotional aspects, intellectual aspects, whatever. All these parts that being used in this mistake should be warned in a way that would fit them. That's my understanding is. When you disturb, for instance, societal order, the punishment is from the society. When you steal something, when you claim ownership, right, over something, this claim needs to be cut. So when you do injustice, yes, the part of it would be your feeling of regret, but you need to also experience, first and foremost, yourself and the people around you need to experience that the injustice was corrected with justice. Otherwise, people wouldn't see the manifestation of the justice in this creation. Would be a terrible education place. Hence, we see sometimes, these emotional responses, sometimes intellectual responses, argument slams your argument, sometimes physical responses, and author talks about earthquake, for instance, right? And the claim is the earthquakes is the physical aspect of the earthquake perfectly fits the physical crimes you did. That's the claim. So on and so forth. With this logic, when you see this in the creation, now it also acts as a basis, as an evidence for you, one evidence for the existence of the hereafter. Because you would say, when I look at the creation, I see there is always a fitting response to every injustice. Almost everything, at least. But what about this nation, keep bombing this nation? I didn't see the physical response yet. When it will happen? You ask this question, right? When it will happen? Why you ask this question? Why don't you say, this is the life? No. You have this expectation that there must be a fitting response. For example, another nation will come and destroy them. Why? Because this is what happens in history. Look at the history of the nations. You will always see a barbaric nation being destroyed by another barbaric nation. Right? You will see a lot of examples of that. When you observe this, you have this expectation now. There's an order in the creation. There's a justice in the creation. And this part is missing, at least apparently missing, from my perspective. So I have this expectation that it will be paid somewhere else in another time. There must be someone taking account of it. You have this expectation now. So, yes, it doesn't work in a way that, I just feel regret and it's done. No. If there is a response, a physical response that fits, so that's the reason in religion we have qisas, right? When you do something, if you break a tooth, another, like a tooth of yours should be broken, not two of them, one. If you kill someone, somebody comes and kill Osman alayhi salam, radiallahu anh. Imam Ali radiallahu anh, what he says, I have to find the one who killed the guy. I cannot go and punish the entire group or nation, right? One person kills another person, I have to find this person and kill. This is the justice, the order in creation I see, and this is the order reflected in Sharia. If there was no physical aspect of it, to be honest, I would say this is injustice. Okay, so I think we are out of time. If there are no concluding remarks, questions, and next time we can continue with our discussion about the evil prevailing. And if they are successful, maybe they are not that evil. Maybe they know something more than us. That's another part of the question. Inshallah, we will continue with this next week. But let's conclude with the beautiful final remarks by Zarin, inshallah. Who has the microphone?
I guess maybe before we move on to the fourth question, and maybe this could be like a review for next week, I'm still a bit not clear about, like we said that the consequences the consequence for disbelief or for unbelief is fittingly this is fittingly hell. So we would see sort of that outcome in the examples we presented. We would see that outcome right away. So I guess I'm still unsure then about, again, paradise being a favor, because I guess I'm thinking of it as opposites. Like if you choose evil, then the outcome of choosing evil is created. If you choose good deeds, to do good deeds, then the outcome of that is also created. But I guess the second paragraph of the answer to the second question seems to be, at least from the way I understand it, seems to be indicating that like there is no agency, like I don't have agency in making like the good choices. So I'm still a bit confused about that.
One example we gave, I guess, previously. I saw your hand raised, Yusuf. Would you like to go? So I guess once upon a time, Yusuf gave example with cat. Let's make it with children. It will be more, dramatic. A child, Ali, is playing here happily. You will touch. Ali is playing happily here, enjoying, right? Not doing discussion like in the normal time. Enjoying, smiling, making all these jokes, having fun, right? And Yusuf observing this, having fun too. So he's not doing anything. He's just observing and having fun. This having fun is created for him as a what? Not a reward, but as a mercy. What is the word used in the text in English? Jannah is being favor. As a favor, whoever is creating these emotions or the feelings, creating joy in him, right? Not because he's doing anything. It's just letting the child play. Does he deserve anything? No. You may even think that, whoever is giving this child to him must be so merciful, loving, that although he doesn't deserve anything, he's given such a beautiful thing, right? He didn't do anything for this, like a child, also this moment, the experience he's having. He didn't do anything. He has no agency. What is the alternative? The child is playing, and I don't know, he's trying to read something, and he gets annoyed by the sound and slaps the child. Everybody's looking, with angry. So what happened? The child starts crying, feeling terrible. Now then he's feeling terrible, etc. Their relationship is gone. This thing is a consequence of his agency of what though? Denying this joy, this joyful, beautiful creation. Just denying it and choosing to reject. So that's the reason author says the evil is non-existence. Like there is an existing thing which is beautiful, and he's just rejecting it by choosing, saying that, okay, whoever is creating these things, raise my hand and then move it with this speed so that it will land on his face and then create the cry. That's his implicit, intention. So he has agency now. We can easily say that the punishment, like let's say, make it more fitting to make Sister Sarah happy as well. The wife comes and starts shouting him. What are you doing? What kind of, the father you are? I would hit you if I can, right? So more fitting with physical, the aspects as well. Everybody would say he deserved it. It's let's say, a fitting punishment of his actions, his agency of choosing non-existence. But nobody would say when he's enjoying the view, oh, he deserved this, the good feelings because he's not doing anything. Nobody would say. We will say he's so blessed, meaning it's a favor that this joy is given to him. Didn't do anything. And this is how I understand that paragraph. Would you? Yeah, let's conclude with you, inshallah.
I mean, I think it was a good example. So, is there was it not clear enough, or?
Okay, let's hear the question and then start there because we are way out.
Sorry. So I guess that example I still struggle with because I can see how a child doesn't choose to feel joy, but thinking of examples like I put in, let's say, effort to attain such and such position, then people would say, oh, you deserve the fruits of your labor, for instance.
Okay.
How
Yeah. Good question. Inshallah, let's continue there next week. And let's see if it is really us doing anything there, or if it is, the good labor and the product of your good labor, it might be even taken as a punishment. So, okay, let's start, let's continue with that, inshallah, next week. I apologize for taking that long. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة.